The English Electric P.5 Kingston was a British twin-engine biplane flying boat built by English Electric. When the English Electric Company was formed in 1918 from several companies, the Phoenix Dynamo Manufacturing Company brought with it the two prototype Phoenix P.5 Cork reconnaissance flying boats. Redesigned, the Cork reappeared as the English Electric P.5 Kingston with a production order for 5 aircraft. In 1922, W.O. Manning led a team of designers to produce a coastal patrol and anti-submarine flying boat to meet Air Ministry's specification 23/23. They based the design on the Cork and the resulting aircraft looked similar, but the hull was designed to the latest standard. The Kingston also had redesigned wingtip floats, extended upper wing ailerons, and a larger fin and rudder than the Cork. In January 1923, the Air Ministry contracted English Electric to build a prototype, and the new design was built at Preston, then moved by road to Lytham for flight trials. Following an inspection by the Ministry on May 12, 1924, the prototype, serial number N168, was launched into the Rebel estuary on May 22, and after 20 minutes of trials on the water was taken out into the estuary for its first flight. At the point of takeoff, N168 suddenly stopped amidst a cloud of spray and then began to sink. The crew had been thrown out and the aircraft floated with its wings on the surface. While the crew were being rescued, the aircraft had floated away and was recovered by a tug which beached N168. The flying boat was patched up and the water pumped out, and by the evening had been refloated using a tug. While being towed by the tug, the strong current struck the pier and it had to be beached again. It was recovered to the company's slipway the following day. The investigation concluded that the flying boat had hit some flotsam. Despite the accident, the Air Ministry ordered 4 more flying boats to be designated the Kingston NKI. The first Kingston IM-9709 was ready a few months later. Only small changes were made from the prototype, including a slightly larger beam and 2 bladed propellers. The flying boat was delivered by rail to the Marine Aircraft Experimental Establishment at Felixstowe in November 1924 for acceptance trials. Although the flying boat met the type and air handling requirements, it did not meet the Ministry's requirements for seaworthiness. Modifications were made to IM-9709 for improvements, including 4 bladed propellers. On May 25, 1925, just after becoming airborne, the engines left their mountings and the wing structure failed, causing cracks in the hull. The aircraft floated and the crew escaped without injury. The second Kingston IM-9710 first flew on November 13, 1925 at Lytham and was flown to RAF Calshot for service trials along with the third flying boat N9711. The fourth flying boat N9712 was dismantled and the hull moved to RAF Farnborough to enable tests to be carried out. This fourth aircraft re-emerged as N9712 at Lytham with a new derailleur hull and became the sole Kingston II. Test flown at Felixstowe, it failed to perform, and by 1930 the metal hull was used for tests at Farnborough. The last aircraft to be built, N9713, had a completely redesigned hull, but this reverted to wooden construction, and was known as the Kingston III. Although more successful than the others, the Kingston III was kept by the Marine Aircraft Experimental Establishment for experimental work and sometimes as a crew ferry. It was intended to produce a metal-hulled variant of the Kingston III, but the day the Kingston III left Lytham for Felixstowe in 1926, the company closed its aircraft department. Following some wartime subcontract work, the aircraft department was not reformed until 1944. Data from British flying boats. General characteristics. Crew, 6. Pilot, observer, 3 gunners, engineer. Length, 52 feet 9 in. 16.08 m. Wingspan, 85 feet 6 in, 26.07 m. Height, 20 feet 11 in, 6.38 m. Wing area, 1,282.5 square feet 119.2 square meters. Empty weight, 9,130 pounds 4,150 kilograms. Max takeoff weight, 14,508 pounds 6,595 kilograms. Power plant, 2 times Napier Lion IIB 12-cylinder piston, 450 HP, 336 kilowatts, each. Performance. Maximum speed, 104.8 miles per hour, 169 kilometers per hour, 91 knots. Endurance, 8 to 9 hours. Service ceiling, 9,060 feet. 2,760 m. Armament. Guns, 3 times 0.303 in, 7.7 mm, Lewis machine gun. Bombs, up to 1,040 pounds 472 kilograms of bonds.